ABC 6 News starts right now with a weather alert.
Good Monday evening, starting with the traffic cam here near Mason City and Clear Lake. This is on I-35. Road is partially covered here. You can see one lane has less snow, the other has complete covered on the left lane. But this is what we're going to see continue as we carry on through the rest of this evening. Looking at the road conditions right now, in Minnesota, we're doing well. In Iowa, we're getting more snow right now, and that's spreading to the north. So we're going to see that hit Highway 14 corridor by the time we get to around 11 p.m. to about midnight. Now, on the radar picture right now, Weather First radar showing that snow moving out of Iowa into Minnesota, or moving through Iowa. Not out of it yet. It's going to continue here tonight. Coming up in your main forecast, I'll let you know what to expect tomorrow, late tonight, tomorrow morning, the totals, the timing, the wind gusts that are going to combine to make travel difficult at times, and when the next little storm system comes our way. All your forecast details are coming up.
Thank you, Randy, and good evening. Thank you for choosing ABC 6 News tonight. I'm Robin Wolfram.
And I'm Maisie Olson. We begin this evening with what's expected to be the most significant snowfall of the season so far for our area. We have teams stationed in northern Iowa tonight as we continue to track the winter storm that's settling in. Snowfall totals in southeast Minnesota are expected to be anywhere from 2 to 5 inches, while northeast Iowa could see as much as 6 inches or more between now and tomorrow.
And as the snow falls, it is expected to have a huge impact on the roads, of course. Winter is no foreigner to us, and we are no foreigner to it. But it's good to get reacquainted with those wintry conditions once you hit the road. Now, we're going to head to Iowa. Here's what things look like right now on Interstate 35 in Cerro Gordo counties. You can see there's a light dusting on the roads right now. So be careful when you head out there because it can be dangerous. Again, slick roads are expected, the snow continuing through this evening. Models show the southwestern part of our coverage area is expected to get hit first as the storm expands north. And here's a look at where things stand on Highway 52, right here just north of Rochester. Nothing yet, as we can see. The roads are clear, but as Randy mentioned, that's about to change. We're expecting to see some snowfall starting in here within the next hour or so. And turning now to a closer look at where things stand in North Iowa tonight.
That's where we find ABC 6 News reporter Jordan Sansom with how people are preparing tonight. Jordan.
Yeah, Robin and Maisie, as you can tell from my hat, snowfall has touched down in northeast Iowa. I might just accumulate 2 inches of snow just from standing here by the time this story is over. But no need to worry, because from the State Patrol to the Iowa DOT, state and local agencies are preparing for what's to be a sizable amount of snow over the next couple of days. With the impending snowfall, drivers are being reminded to take it slow behind the wheel this week. And to make sure that's being done, state troopers will be out in force to make sure people are taking the right precautions.
We'll still be enforcing those laws, making sure everybody's driving within the speed limit.
But it's not just law enforcement getting involved. Iowa DOT will also be out treating the roads to make them as clear as possible. And something that will make their jobs easier is the enforcement of winter parking ordinances.
Our staff are trying to do the job, get the roads back to near normal and get back home to their families as well. So we just please ask the folks to be patient with us, especially in these kind of conditions that are forecasted.
The rules are simple. On odd days, make sure you're parked on the odd side of the road, and for even days, you'll have to be on the even side. Mason City, Clear Lake, and Ventura will have this ordinance in place starting Monday night and until further notice. And if you do have to get behind the wheel, there are some simple steps to follow. Slow down, take your time, and maintain a safe following distance between you and the car in front of you.
You're going to be busy tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. And we're going to be running from call to call. So don't hesitate to call 911 and let us know where you're at so we can get to you.
State Trooper Tom Williams also encourages everyone that if you don't need to go out, to stay inside. If you do, however, need to go out, make sure that you're prepared. Pack a blanket, some warm clothes, and to plan your route ahead of time. Maisie and Robin.
All right, thanks, Jordan. And here in southeast Minnesota, preparations for tonight's storm started long before the snow started to fall, as both MnDOT and private snow removal companies geared up for the busiest few days of the season so far.
Everybody's ready to go. We've been waiting for this all winter long.
They've been out, kind of really practicing putting down brine, kind of a pre-treatment on some areas like the traffic ramps.
More than 200 MnDOT plows are ready to hit the road as they'll be working overnight to make sure your morning commute is safe and clear of any buildup. As for folks at home, Mercy One is offering some winter weather tips to keep in mind tonight. They include keeping an eye out for signs of hypothermia and frostbite if you're heading outdoors. And if your power or heat goes out, having a backup plan for your heating your home, like a fireplace or a kerosene heater, can help minimize dangers from cold weather creeping inside.
And as Jordan mentioned, be sure to pay attention to parking ordinances for the next few days as they are in effect in both Mason City and Clear Lake, Iowa tonight. And for parents or caregivers, keep an eye on school closures as we are already seeing a few of those come into our area tonight. And be sure to keep it right here on ABC 6, both online and on air, as we will most likely be seeing more closures for tomorrow. And if you'd like to track this winter storm, school closures, or road conditions, download our ABC 6 News mobile app for the latest up-to-date information right in the palm of your hands. And it wasn't weather related, but a threat on school and social media that forced schools in St. Ansgar to close today.
That's right. The Mitchell County Sheriff's Office says the violent threat was posted just last night. We're told it referenced last week's devastating mass shooting in Perry that left several students and staff hurt and an 11-year-old child fatally shot. The sheriff's office determined the threat lacked credibility, but closed schools out of an abundance of caution. Several agencies, including the FBI, are now working to find out where that threat came from, but as of now, no suspect has been identified.
And in Austin, police are asking for your help tracking down a masked teenager accused of walking into a local business, pulling out a gun and demanding cash from the till. It happened last night just after 6:30 at One Stop Food Mart in Austin. The suspect, described as a tall teenage boy, allegedly told the clerk, quote, "We're all doing our jobs, but I need all the money in the till." We're told he then apologized and shook the clerk's hand before running off. The incident, neighbors say, has left them shaken.
Yeah, we're real tight in this community. Everybody watches out after one another, and so I feel pretty secure in the neighborhood. But it's the last thing you want to hear is armed robberies in town.
If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Austin Police Department.
Also tonight, we're learning the man who pleaded guilty to shooting and killing 7-year-old John Colbert in May of 2022 will spend the next 2 decades behind bars. 33-year-old William Shillingford appeared in front of an Olmsted County judge today where his nearly 22-year sentence was handed down. Shillingford addressing the court at his sentencing, calling John a friend.
There's no apology I can make that is deserving of forgiveness, and I would never ask it from any of you. Sadly, and with deep regret, my apology and the sentence handed down are all I can offer you today. With all my heart, I'm truly and achingly sorry for the pain and suffering that my monstrous actions have caused you all.
During victim impact statements, John Colbert's wife told the court how much she loved her husband, describing John as a doting husband, father, and grandfather. Still ahead tonight, there could be a silent danger lingering in your home. What you need to know about how radon could harm you and your family. Welcome back. Before we move on to other news tonight, let's take one more look at the roads.
We're just bracing ourselves, people. It's another look at Highway 52 just south of Orinoco. As you're heading into Rochester, again, the roads are clear. We aren't expecting that to last, however. Those snowflakes will be coming in within about an hour or so. And of course, Randy will have more on what we can expect coming up a little bit later on in the show tonight.
And now to some health headlines, starting with a startling new statistic from the Minnesota Department of Health. According to MDH, 4 out of 10 homes in Minnesota have dangerously high radon levels. And that's a cause for concern because the odorless and colorless radioactive gas is the leading cause of lung cancer for people who don't smoke. In response, MDH is sending test kits at low or no cost for Minnesotans. If you'd like to buy one, we have a link up on our website right now at KAALTV.com. Also tonight, Mayo Clinic is urging people with type O positive blood to donate, calling their current shortage issue urgent. The shortage was largely caused by a pause in collections around the holidays. Right now, Mayo has 2 locations where people can donate, either in downtown Rochester on the main floor of the Hilton building, or for people in Northwest Rochester, Mayo has a donor location at the 41st Street Professional Building.
And finally tonight, you may remember the story of the applesauce brand contaminated with lead, which has seen at least 8 cases of elevated lead levels in children all across Minnesota. Well, as it turns out, it may be worse than we first thought. According to the FDA, they have now detected another contaminant inside the packages of these products. It's called chromium-6, which has health impacts that, as of now, are not well understood, but it can cause abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. Now, if your child has experienced any of these symptoms, you need to take them to your doctor. Well, still ahead tonight, flying debris and mass casualties following a massive explosion at a Texas hotel earlier today. What may have caused that blast and the extent of the damage when we come back.
And snowflakes are flying right now across North Iowa and moving into southern Minnesota. Already some roads in Minnesota partially covered. On the northern edge of this, some drier air those snowflakes have to overcome. And temperatures tomorrow, they're going to top out at around 30. Snow mainly in the morning, but some of that lingering in the afternoon. Your forecast is after the break.
Plus, horrifying moments for passengers after an Alaskan airline jet loses a large chunk of its plane while in the air. The latest on the investigation when we come back. Now to news across America, starting with the explosion at a historic hotel in downtown Fort Worth, Texas.
City officials now saying the cause of the blast was a gas leak. At least 11 people were hurt, some treated on the sidewalk. Remarkably, no one was killed. However, one person remains in critical condition tonight. Witnesses said they originally thought the explosion was thunder.
All of a sudden, we just heard this big boom. And not too long after, we started hearing police sirens and fire truck sirens kind of blazing through.
Reports do show that the leak may have started in a restaurant located in the building. However, that has not been confirmed. Also tonight, United Airlines says it has found loose bolts on their Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes. This after a door plug blew out in midair during an Alaskan Airlines flight on Friday. And all more than 170 of the Boeing jets are now grounded for inspections. The incident Friday happened at 16,000 feet and left a gaping hole in the side of the passenger jet. The FAA is now requiring all airlines to complete enhanced inspections on Boeing 737 MAX 9s, including door exit plugs and components and fasteners before they're allowed to fly again.
And now to the strong storms moving across much of the country tonight. From the south all the way to the northeast, new and powerful storms are sweeping across the country, in some places bringing snow, rain, and the threat of tornadoes. In New Hampshire, people here digging out from this past weekend's blizzard, all while bracing for more snow through Wednesday. 58 million people nationwide under a winter weather alert. Meanwhile, forecasters predicting 6 to 12 inches of snow to fall in parts of the Midwest overnight into Tuesday, with some of those totals possible in North Iowa. And with that, let's take another look at the roads in our area again tonight. This is I-35 in Cerro Gordo County. You can see that snow has already begun packing the road surface, and there is a little bit of wind that's kind of blowing across. It's really important to stay really steady when you're driving and make sure that you're slowed down, as your car may be slipping on those big patches of snow that you're seeing on your screen right now.
And Randy Brock joins us now. And of course, they're supposed to see more snow than we are. We're going to see, but the wind, I think, tomorrow you were talking about could cause a real problem.
I'll have all that up here in just a moment. It's going to be gusty tomorrow.
Take it over,
Here's what we're looking at. Yeah, it's going to be snowy and windy. Looking at our Tuesday morning especially, that's going to conflict with drive time. Snow is underway tonight in North Iowa, getting underway in southeast Minnesota. The snow is going to be heaviest in northeast Iowa, but especially around Charles City and Cresco and Osage, and the wind is going to be blowing up to around 40 miles per hour at times tomorrow. Not a steady wind not a steady wind of 30 to 40 miles per hour, but it's going to be gusty. Now we're getting a little bit of snow to fly already in south central Minnesota, but nothing really showing up on the Albert Lee Tower Cam yet. But we are looking at partially covered roads in southern Mower County, portions of Freeborn County now marked as partially covered, and now almost all of our Iowa roads are partially covered or completely covered around Mason City over to Charles City, and this is going to continue to expand through the rest of tonight. So here's the radar picture right now. Snow moving northward from Iowa into Minnesota. It is going to be heavy at times Not heavy enough to get some really impressive totals. But in southeast Minnesota, there's a winter weather advisory tonight through Tuesday for wind, for blowing snow, amounts 2 to 4 inches. And in northeast Iowa, where there's amounts are going to be even higher, potentially, especially closer to Decorah, up to around 6 inches of snow. And it's this combination, the wind and the snow, that is going to continue to make for slick roads for the rest of tonight as the snow continues to fall. Now, it's going to be a bit less for you, just a heads up, in Steele County, up into Rice County, into Goodhue County and Wabasha County. Not much, trace to an inch. Now, the rest of us along Highway 14, that's going to be around 2 to 3 inches by the end of the day tomorrow, and amounts will be higher. Notice where the snow hangs in there a little bit longer by tomorrow afternoon in northeast Iowa. Getting into Mitchell, Howard, and Floyd counties as well, amounts are going to be pushing 6 inches by the end of the afternoon tomorrow as that snow continues. Then on Wednesday, fast-moving clipper comes on through, and that'll be adding a little bit to it. Now, the wind gusts tomorrow. This combining with the snow is going to make for a bigger issue, especially on the roadways going east and west as the wind's crossing the road right there. Tomorrow morning to start the day, wind gusts will be up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour. That wind gust continues into the afternoon. So we're going to have blowing snow, some drifting snow through the entirety of the day tomorrow. Then the wind backs off. Amounts? Not huge. We've seen bigger, but we have not seen bigger yet this season. 2 to 4 inches for the majority of southeast Minnesota. Little corner there of Fillmore County. So those of you around Spring Grove over to Caledonia, they're going to get around 4 to 6 inches of snow. That applies to parts of northeast Iowa as well. The bulk of the snow and the strongest wind will be in the morning. By the afternoon, the wind's still strong, just not as much snow. 1 to 3 inches total by tomorrow morning. 28 degrees for a low, and wind out of the east stays light. And a high tomorrow of 30 degrees. Winds out of the north through the day. They'll be strong, gusting up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So snow likely through Tuesday. That is why we have the alert day tonight through Tuesday. Another little wave on Wednesday, some light snow there. And then the bottom drops out, temperatures drop, hitting the end of the week and this weekend. So we do have Arctic air coming our way as well. Wow. With a high of 2 degrees below zero by Monday. One thing I just noticed a little bit ago, it's just a little story time. January 8th, 1999 is when I started my first job in Amarillo, Texas. It was my first day on the job. We got snow that winter. Nothing has changed in 25 years. You're always stressed out until the first snowflake flies. So I still keep checking the window, waiting for the first snowflake.
It's exciting for you, though, because you kind of been laying low for a while.
Yeah, I love the snowstorm.
It's his time to shine. He's been excited for it.
Let's snow.
Thank you, Randy.
You bet.
And now to the countdown to the Iowa caucuses.
With just 1 week to go, candidates on both sides taking aim at Donald Trump as the Republican frontrunner holds on to a commanding 30-point lead. Just today, President Biden laying out the stakes, warning about MAGA Republicans led by Trump, pointing to January 6th and Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election results.
That's not the real world. That's not democracy. That's not America. In America, we all count. In America, we witness to serve all those who, in fact, participate. And losers are taught to concede when they lose. And he's a loser.
Meanwhile, back in Iowa, weather-canceling campaign events, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who's vying for number 2 alongside Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, both must now pushing to convince their voters they have what it takes to beat the former president. Purple Rain is now heading to the Great White Way. Prince's 1984 film is officially being developed into a Broadway musical. It's a movie about an ambitious musician and won an Academy Award for Best Original Song. Broadway producer Orrin Wolf made the announcement today, but he didn't give any other details like where and when you'll be able to see the initial production.
So I guess we just have to be patient.
Be patient.
That is going to be spectacular. Absolutely. Joining us now is ABC Sports Director Jose Solis in the studio with the latest in sports, and we are going to be hopping all over the board tonight.
Hooping across the board, too.
Hooping! Well, we're going to be hopping on the hoops.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. First, congratulations to Michigan for winning the college football championship. We're covering plenty of ground. First up, a Mower County doubleheader in prep basketball. Kingsland at Leroy Ostrander. Spring Grove at Southland, plus
Well, just about 10 minutes ago, it was a lot more clear, but now the snow flying in Albert Lea and will continue to spread across southern Minnesota. So we have limited visibility right now, and by the end of the day tomorrow, we'll see around 2 to 4 inches of snow in most of southeast Minnesota, but some pockets that'll pick up around 4 to 6 inches of snow from Mason City to Cresco, Charles City, and Decorah, probably even getting a little bit more. Your extended forecast looking at temperatures dropping back down to the single digits by this coming weekend and even highs below zero to start next week.
That's a sight for sore eyes. That's the most winter forecast we've seen in a very long time.
Ski slopes can make a lot of snow and cold air too.
And I keep thinking of shovelable snow. That's going to be happening tomorrow. Well, before we go tonight, there is a handful of Minnesotans that are certainly glad to see the winter weather return.
This video was released today by the Minnesota Zoo showing some of its residents enjoying the snow. From lynx to the wolves, everyone is seemingly enjoying the long-awaited snowfall.
Man, you know what? Seeing these images really reminds me of my time as a zookeeper. Here's an old picture of me holding Robert the koala.
You get out, Randy. What haven't you done?